Greetings, agents! FiOth here, and in this vid I'm bringing you a review and comparison of both the Killer7 and Broken Butterfly. As with my other special weapon reviews and comparisons, I didn't think it would bring enough value if I just created a review focused vid saying that this gun slaps. So I'm putting them back to back, comparing stats, talking about what I think are the strengths and weaknesses, so in the end you can make an informed decision about whether or not you should be using X instead of Y and vice versa. Here's a bit of gameplay, and without further ado, let's talk about the specifics of these two beasts. Here's my boy Leon and Ashley, both COVID proof. Let's get to comparing these beasts. So we will be comparing the Broken Butterfly and the Killer7. The Broken Butterfly is the uncontested damage king of the game, sports a power of 27 times 1.5. That takes it to 40.5, insane number for the game standards. Ammo capacity of 10, reload speed of 0.86, rate of fire of 133, and precision of 2. Remember this precision of 2 because we will be talking about it in a bit. Penetration power, of course, is a staple of the Magnums. Then the Killer7, an all stainless steel Magnum. It has a laser sight mounted on top of the standard and boasts both high power and accuracy. Power is 28 flat, ammo capacity 15, reload speed 1.4, rate of fire 116, and precision of 2.5. This looks like a much more balanced gun. I'm gonna talk about what is actually very important when it comes to handling these two beauties. So I spent the majority of my time with the Butterfly, and I came back to the game to test the Killer7. What I want to show here, demonstrate to make it abundantly clear, is that the Killer7 boasts a laser sight. As with the OG Resident Evil 4 release, if you have a laser sight on your gun, you're pinpoint accurate even if there is a bit of swaying. The bullet will always land at the end of this laser pointer. So you whip out the gun, ADS, shoot. Now, the Butterfly, if you're totally stationary, will probably give you an experience like this. The reticule really shrinks and you can be relatively accurate. The problem is if you try to move at all, the reticule becomes a freaking black hole that will suck in your hopes and dreams. So there is no using the Broken Butterfly when strafing at all. And on higher difficulty settings you will need to strafe quite a bit, and considering you will be using this monstrosity to down bosses, well, you wanna make room against the bosses, or you know what will happen on professional especially. They can insta-give you quite easily. Stats wise, they're not really comparable because they're designed to do very specific things. Reload speed is in both cases good. The Broken Butterfly was deprived its amazing reload animation that it had in the original. It's 0.86, reloads extremely fast, but it just lost some of the swagger it had. Ammo capacity is 10 for it, whilst the Killer7 boasts 15. Very important, because it's 50% more ammo in the mag, and that kinda renders reload speed non-consequential because, brother, if you spend 15 bullets in a fight from a Magnum, that's pretty much your whole ammo economy for this thing. So 15 will down any boss, it's a shitload of ammo, and you will not have to reload if you know what you're doing. Rate of fire of 116, 133 here, pretty much the same thing. And the precision of 2 that we stated earlier really shows on the Broken Butterfly. Because of the huge ass reticule, this precision of 2 will be really felt, whilst with the Killer7, you won't understand what this number is, honestly, because if you have a laser pointer, your bullets will always fly through and hit what you're pointing at. There is one much more important differentiation between the two. Whilst the 1.5 times damage of the Broken Butterfly is very commendable, when it comes to the Killer7, it has 5% critical hit rate. This is huge. It has an upside and a downside. Upside being a 5 times chance crit from a magnum with 28 damage potential and a firing rate of 116 is insanely valuable. If you hit those crit spots on bosses, it will decimate it. And here comes the downside. Granted, you are a bit lucky with your RNG. As I've demonstrated time and again when I reviewed my pistols that boast this characteristic, the Silver Ghost and the Sentinel 9, it's all luck. It's a crapshoot. You can get extremely lucky with your crits, or you might not get lucky with your crits and you will just be hitting for standard damage. If standard damage is 28, yeah man, that's not too shabby, but considering how few bullets we usually fire from these things throughout a playthrough, if you're feeling lucky, this can actually be a game changer, because that's a lot of damage, man. If you hit a crit from this thing, they are really gonna feel it. As you saw in the opening gameplay, against the Ganados, it's a no-brainer. Of course, you are not using this thing against the Ganados. You want it for beefier opponents, but the stopping power and overall harmfulness is off the charts. This crit is very enticing, but you have to know that you're taking the good with the bad. It's all RNG. On the other hand, the Broken Butterfly is a flat number. You will always get 40.5, no questions asked. It will cause tremendous damage whenever you fire bullets. I have to talk a bit about my preference and how I view these things. You usually don't use that much magnum ammo, as I said earlier, throughout the playthrough. So if you are going to go for the standardized fire to damage ratio, I would suggest the Broken Butterfly over the Killer7. The thing with this thing is that it really doesn't allow you to use it over longer distances. For example, in the final Saddler fight, when he goes into the central platform, it is far away, you have to use a rifle. But with the Killer7 and a steady hand, you might be able to hit those sweet spots from farther away and pretty much stop his channeling phase altogether. The Broken Butterfly is not gonna allow it, because reticule is huge even when it shrinks, and there is a good chance you will be shooting all over the place. Apart from that, it's preference. People, I don't usually trust RNG to deal the damage for me, so as enticing as this crit looks, if I'm gonna fire 5 bullets from this into a boss, I'm not always sure I'm gonna capitalize on the critical damage. You can test this on PC by downloading an HB bar mod that shows the total HP of enemies on top of their heads. So if you see like a huge chunk evaporated, you know it will be a crit, and in case of these things, that crit's gonna be devastating. But it involves being a little bit lucky. You can gauge your chances and make an informed decision. That's pretty much the comparison, guys. Both of them very effective weapons, extremely high value ammunition throughout the playthrough, and ultimately your choice depends on whether you want consistency or you are feeling lucky. Punk. I've covered most of the guns in Resident Evil 4. I intend to cover every single one of them. If you want to get started with the rest of my reviews, you can get started right here. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!